Imagine standing on the edge of a moment you cannot yet see but can somehow feel. The air is heavy with anticipation, like the pause before dawn when the first light has not yet broken the horizon. You have been waiting, perhaps for years, carrying the weight of unanswered prayers and dreams deferred. You have endured seasons of dryness, where every step felt like walking through a desert with no oasis in sight, and yet something within you refuses to give up. That quiet whisper inside your soul, the one that says, "Hold on, your time is coming," has never stopped speaking. We often think miracles arrive with loud fanfare, but the greatest works of God begin in stillness. While you have been fighting battles no one knows about, God has been moving pieces in the unseen realm, aligning details with such precision that when it happens, even your enemies will be silenced. He is orchestrating events so perfectly that you will not be able to explain it with logic. You will simply have to say, "This is the hand of God." There are times in life when you feel invisible, forgotten, even discarded. Yet in heaven's book, your name is still written in bold. The delay has not been a denial, it has been a divine strategy. For if God were to release what you have been praying for too soon, it would fall into unprepared hands, yours and others. But now, as your faith has been refined through fire, He is setting the stage for something so unexpected, so breathtaking, that when it unfolds, people will be frozen in amazement. Not just because of what happened, but because of who it happened to. You, the one they thought would never rise again. Think about it. God has a way of turning the most ordinary moments into divine encounters. A shepherd boy with a sling becomes a giant slayer. A prisoner in chains becomes a ruler of nations. A broken widow in a foreign land finds herself in the lineage of kings. These are not just stories from ancient pages. They are templates of His nature. And His nature has not changed. The same God who parted seas and brought water from rocks is the same God working in your life right now. When God moves, He does so in a way that leaves no room for doubt. The miracle He is preparing for you will not be something that can be credited to luck, timing, or coincidence. It will bear His fingerprints in every detail. The very people who once questioned your worth will stand still, unable to speak, as they witness what He has done. Your life will become living proof that the God who sits on the throne still answers prayers in ways that defy human understanding. But here is the truth you must hold on to. The waiting season is not wasted. Every tear you've shed, every night you've wrestled with questions, every step you've taken in faith when it made no sense, these have been seeds sown into the soil of your destiny, and the harvest is nearer than you think. Heaven has been leaning toward your life, and the order has already been given. It is time. When it happens, you will not need to defend yourself or prove anything. The miracle will speak louder than any argument. It will silence gossip, erase doubts, and rewrite the narrative others tried to place over your life. Those who laughed will watch in stillness. Those who left will wonder if they made the biggest mistake of their lives. And you will stand in awe, not just because of what God gave you, but because of the way He gave it. So personal, so specific, that you will know He has been listening all along. So keep walking, keep believing. You are closer to the turning point than you realize. The God who spoke the stars into place is aligning every detail for a miracle that will not only change your life, but will also leave the world around you frozen in amazement. And when it comes, you will understand why the wait was so long and why the road was so hard. Because the best miracles are the ones worth waiting for. It is one of the greatest mysteries of faith that long before you ever see the first hint of a breakthrough, God has already been moving. The miracle you will witness in the coming days is not something that begins when you see it. It began long ago, hidden in the folds of time, beyond the reach of human eyes. While you have been living your days, waking, sleeping, fighting battles, and enduring silent disappointments, the Creator of the heavens and the earth has been setting in motion a chain of events so intricate, so intentional, that no human mind could have conceived it. We forget that the visible is always preceded by the invisible. A tree does not spring forth in its fullness in a single moment. It begins as a seed buried in darkness. That darkness is not a grave, it is a womb. And so it is with your life. What you cannot see right now is the quiet, deliberate movement of God's hand, shifting circumstances, influencing hearts, closing certain doors to protect you, and opening others you have yet to notice. You think the silence means inactivity, but the silence is simply the sound of heaven working in perfect secrecy. This is why you cannot judge your future by your present. You cannot measure tomorrow's blessing by today's emptiness. The story is not over simply because you cannot see the next page. The author is still writing. Think of Joseph in the prison cell, forgotten by men but not by God. While the world saw a prisoner, heaven saw a prime minister in waiting. Long before Pharaoh's dream needed interpreting, God had already placed Joseph in the exact position for his divine appointment. Your life is no different. That detour you resented, that rejection you cried over, that season where you felt stripped of everything, none of it was wasted. These were not random misfortunes. They were careful recalibrations. God knew where you needed to be, and He ensured every step, even the painful ones, led you there. And because His vision is eternal, He has been orchestrating this moment far beyond the scope of your understanding. The miracle being prepared for you will arrive fully formed, because the unseen preparation has already taken place. You will step into a moment that seems sudden to everyone else, but you will know it was years in the making. And when it happens, the perfection of its timing will leave you in awe. You will realize that if it had come earlier, you would not have been ready. If it had come later, you would have been too weary to receive it with joy. Right now, you may feel as though nothing is happening, but in the corridors of heaven there is movement. Angels are carrying messages. Hearts are being stirred. Opportunities are being aligned, and obstacles are being removed without you lifting a finger. You have not been forgotten. You have been prepared. And soon the veil will lift, and you will see that what you thought was delay was actually divine precision. There is something profoundly humbling about waiting. It strips you of illusions, tests the sincerity of your faith, and forces you to wrestle with the question, do I trust God's timing more than my own desires? The delay you are experiencing right now is not a punishment, it is a strategy. Heaven is never in a hurry, and God's plans are never rushed because they are built to last for eternity, not just for a fleeting moment. You see, blessings given too soon can become burdens. If the door opened before the foundation was ready, the weight of the opportunity would crush you instead of elevate you. This is why God holds certain things back, not to deprive you, but to protect you. Think of it like a skilled architect who refuses to place the final structure on weak ground. The longer he builds the foundation, the more secure the future will be. In your heart, you may have moments where you think, Lord, I am ready now. But He sees deeper. He knows the hidden corners of your soul that still need strengthening. He sees the traps laid ahead that must be dismantled before you arrive. He understands the resistance that will rise against you once your blessing is visible, and He ensures that by the time you step into it, you will have the spiritual strength to withstand every challenge. Delay is the training ground of destiny. It shapes your character, clarifies your priorities, and sharpens your discernment. You learn in the waiting what you cannot learn in the receiving. It is in the wilderness that you hear His voice most clearly, for there are no distractions to drown it out. The wilderness is not a place of abandonment. It is the proving ground where your faith becomes unshakable. Now, amongst others, He demands all your unshakable. Consider David. He was anointed king as a young shepherd boy, yet he spent years in the fields and even longer running from Saul before he sat on the throne. That gap between promise and fulfillment was not wasted time. It was preparation. Without those years, David would not have had the wisdom to rule, the humility to depend on God, or the courage to face giants in battle and in politics. And so it is with you. This delay is forging in you a resilience you will need when the miracle arrives. The very people who will one day marvel at what God has done for you are the same ones who may try to pull you down when envy stirs in their hearts. But by then, you will have the maturity to respond with grace, because the waiting taught you to lean fully on God, not human approval. When the moment comes, you will see that the delay was never wasted. It allowed every detail to align, every opposition to be weakened, and every potential threat to be neutralized. You will walk into your miracle and realize it was not just the right moment, it was the perfect moment. And then you will understand that God's "not yet" was never a no. It was His way of saying, "Wait, I am building something far greater than you imagined." One of the most overlooked blessings of God's timing is the way it reveals the hearts of those around you. When you are waiting for a breakthrough, you get to see people's true colors in a way you could never see in seasons of abundance. Some will stay close and encourage you, speaking life into your spirit. Others will slowly drift away, their silence revealing that their loyalty was tied not to you, but to what they could gain from you. God allows this revealing process because the miracle He is preparing is not meant to be shared with everyone. It is not a public performance for every spectator. It is a sacred unveiling meant for those who have proven their faithfulness through your valley. This is why certain relationships fade as the promise draws closer. It is not rejection, it is divine filtration. When Jesus was about to perform His most intimate miracles, He often sent certain people out of the room. Not because He didn't care for them, but because the atmosphere of faith needed to be pure. The same is true for you. God is removing those who would contaminate the moment with doubt, jealousy, or hidden resentment. By the time your miracle arrives, the people left standing beside you will be those whose joy is genuine, whose prayers for you were sincere, and whose loyalty was never for sale. It is a difficult truth to accept that some you love will not walk with you into your next chapter. The human heart craves connection and fears loss, but God's vision is not clouded by sentiment. He knows who can handle your blessing and who will try to sabotage it, and in His mercy He reveals these truths during the waiting season, so that when the moment comes, your spirit will be surrounded by those who will protect, not exploit, what He has given you. This is also why you cannot take every complaint about your waiting season to heart. Some will mock you for holding on so long, telling you it's foolish to keep believing. Others will question whether you heard God at all, but in time their voices will be silenced, not by your arguments, but by the undeniable evidence of God's faithfulness in your life. The miracle that is coming will not just elevate you, it will separate you. The applause will come from some, and the silence from others will be deafening. Yet you will know that every shift in relationship was part of the plan. For it is better to have a small circle filled with truth than a large crowd filled with hidden daggers. So, as you wait, Do not grieve too long over those who have left. See their departure as the hand of God removing what would have poisoned your promise. And when the miracle finally unfolds, you will stand not only in awe of what He has done, but also in gratitude for the way He prepared the people around you to celebrate it with clean hearts. One of the most breathtaking qualities of God's miracles is their precision. They are never generic, never vague, never random. When God moves in your life, the details are so exact, so tailored to the depths of your soul, that you will know beyond all doubt that He has been listening to your every prayer, both the ones you spoke aloud and the ones you could only whisper in your heart. This is the beauty of divine intervention. It is not a mass production miracle handed out like a general blessing. It is crafted with the same care an artist gives to a masterpiece. Every brushstroke has intention. Every color has meaning. When it arrives, it will not just answer a need. It will touch the very places in you that have been longing for healing, restoration, or recognition. Think about the miracles recorded in Scripture. When Peter needed a sign, Jesus didn't just perform a random wonder. He filled Peter's nets with fish, the very symbol of his livelihood and calling. When the widow in Zarephath faced death, the miracle came in the form of oil and flour, the precise provision her household needed. And when the blind man cried out for mercy, Jesus restored not someone else's sight, but his. God's miracles are always intentional, personal, and specific. In your life, the miracle that is coming will speak to you in such a personal way that no one else will be able to fully understand it. They will see the result, but you will see the secret, how it connects to every moment you spent on your knees, every tear you shed in private, every longing you kept hidden from the world. You will know it is not just a blessing, it is a love letter from God to you. This is why you cannot compare your journey to anyone else's. What God is preparing for you is not meant to look like someone else's breakthrough. It is custom built for your destiny. And when it comes, it will heal wounds you thought time had forgotten. It will restore dignity in places you felt stripped bare. It will return joy in areas where you thought the light would never shine again. Even the timing will be personal. It will come at a moment when it matters most to you, when the impact will be unforgettable, and in that instant, you will realize that the delays, the detours, and even the disappointments were all part of the choreography. Nothing was wasted. Not the pain, not the waiting, not the prayers you thought went unanswered. Every thread will be woven into the fabric of the moment, making it not just miraculous, but unmistakably yours. And perhaps most powerfully, this miracle will not only change your circumstances, it will change you. It will remind you that you were never overlooked, never unheard, never unloved. It will breathe life into weary hope and prove that the God who created galaxies still takes time to write your story with His own hand. There is a strange and beautiful irony in the way God works. He takes the very thing the enemy intended to use against you and turns it into the foundation of your victory. What was meant to break you becomes the platform that elevates you. This is not poetic exaggeration. It is the consistent pattern of heaven's intervention. Joseph's betrayal by his brothers was not erased when he became governor of Egypt. It was transformed into the very reason he was in the position to save them. The cross, meant to humiliate and destroy, became the eternal symbol of salvation. You may not see it yet, but the pain, loss, and betrayal you have endured are not wasted. They are being woven into the miracle itself. God is not simply going to bless you in spite of the harm done to you. He is going to bless you through it. The wound will become the testimony. The setback will become the stage. The moment they thought they had silenced you will become the moment your voice carries further than ever before. The beauty of this truth is that it robs your enemies of their victory. They may have celebrated your downfall, convinced that they had written the final chapter of your story, but God was merely turning the page. And when the new chapter begins, the contrast between where you were and where He is taking you will leave people stunned. They will not just see your rise, they will remember your fall. And that memory will make the miracle impossible to dismiss. The miracle God is aligning for you will not hide the past, it will redeem it. He is not pretending the betrayal never happened. He is showing His power by making it the very thing that propels you into the destiny He promised. What the enemy constructed as a weapon will be repurposed as a tool in God's hands. And when it happens, you will find that the bitterness you once carried will dissolve, not because you forget the pain, but because you see the purpose. You will understand why you had to walk through certain valleys, why certain people had to leave, and why certain prayers seemed unanswered for so long. Every tear, every sleepless night, every whispered plea will be revealed as part of a larger plan you could not have imagined. This is the essence of divine reversal. It is not simply God making things better, it is God making things glorious. The scar does not vanish, it becomes the mark of survival, the evidence of grace, the sign that the enemy's best attempt was not enough. And that is why when this miracle comes, it will not only astonish the people around you, it will terrify the forces that tried to destroy you. They will see that what they intended for evil has been turned into something unshakably good. So, if you are in a place where the harm still feels fresh, take heart. The author is still writing, the story is not finished, and soon, the very chapter that caused you the most pain will be the one that draws the most awe. When God moves in your life, the impact is never limited to you alone. His blessings have a ripple effect that spreads far beyond your own circumstances, touching people you never expected. The miracle that is coming will not only transform your life, it will shift the atmosphere for those connected to you. Friends, family, even distant acquaintances will feel the weight of it. There is something about a true act of God that carries a presence. It is not just an event, it is an encounter. People will not only witness what happens to you, they will feel something in their spirit when they are near you. The same way you can feel the warmth of sunlight without touching the sun, those around you will sense the light of God's favor radiating from your life. This is how God testifies of Himself through His people. He allows your miracle to become a living, breathing sign of His reality. It will cause some to draw closer to Him, wanting to know the God who could do such a thing. Others, perhaps those who doubted you or dismissed you, will be forced to confront the undeniable truth that you did not rise by your own strength. Something greater, someone greater, was at work. When the Israelites crossed the Red Sea, it was not only their deliverance. News of that miracle spread through the nations, striking fear into their enemies and hope into the hearts of those waiting for God's intervention. Your miracle will carry that same dual force. For some, it will inspire. For others, it will unsettle. But for all, it will be unforgettable. This is why you must understand that what God is preparing is not a small, quiet blessing meant to stay hidden. It will be visible, it will be undeniable, it will have a weight that shifts conversations and changes perceptions. You may have been overlooked in the past, passed by or underestimated, but after this, the atmosphere will change when you enter a room. Not because of ego or pride, but because the presence of God's favor will be resting on you in a way that cannot be ignored. And it will not be limited to material provision or public recognition. The peace you carry, The confidence that comes from knowing God fought for you, the restoration of dignity after being wronged, these are the invisible blessings that others will feel even before they hear your story. Some will not be able to explain it, but they will be drawn to it. Others will avoid it because it forces them to confront their own envy or disbelief. The ripple will also extend to those who stood by you in your waiting season. They will rejoice as if the miracle happened to them personally, because in a way, it has. They shared in your prayers, your struggles, and your hope, and now they will share in your joy. And for those who once doubted, the silence will speak louder than words. So when the miracle comes, remember, it is not just for you. It is a light meant to shine into the darkness, a testimony meant to awaken faith, and a reminder to the watching world that the God who works wonders has not stopped. There is a distinct mark on every true miracle of God. It bears no fingerprints but His. The outcome cannot be explained away by human effort, coincidence, or chance. No amount of strategic planning, no network of powerful connections, no carefully managed circumstances could have produced it. When God is the author, the signature is unmistakable. And that is exactly how your coming miracle will be. It will happen in such a way that the glory cannot be shared. Even those who do not believe in Him will have to wrestle with the undeniable reality that something beyond human ability has occurred. It will silence the mouths of those who doubted and give courage to those who have been clinging to hope in their own battles. This is why God often works in ways that seem slow, inconvenient, or even impossible to us, because He refuses to compete for the credit. If it could be explained by human reasoning, it would be easy to dismiss it as the product of skill or luck. But when He moves, He does so in a way that leaves no room for dispute. Consider the story of Gideon. God intentionally reduced his army from thousands to just 300 before sending them into battle. Why? Because if the victory came through a large force, people might boast that their numbers brought success. But when a mere 300 men defeated a countless enemy, there was no mistaking whose power had prevailed. In your life, this is why the odds may feel so stacked against you right now. This is why the resources seem too small, the help too scarce, the path too unclear. God is intentionally narrowing the options so that when He acts, there will be no confusion about who deserves the praise. The very impossibility of your situation is the stage for His glory. And when it happens, it will not only impact your present, it will reshape your future. You will walk with a deeper trust in Him, not because you read about His faithfulness, but because you have lived it. That kind of faith cannot be shaken by circumstances or stolen by doubt. It becomes a permanent anchor for your soul. People will come to you and ask how you did it, and your answer will be simple and true. I didn't. God did. They will see the evidence, but you will know the process. You will remember the nights of silent prayers, the mornings of renewed hope, the days when you had to walk forward with nothing but faith holding you upright, and you will carry that memory like a sacred treasure, a reminder that the God who delivered you once can do it again. Your miracle will not just be a blessing, it will be a testimony. It will stand as a monument to His faithfulness, something you can point to for the rest of your life as proof that no matter how dark it gets, no matter how long it takes, God never abandons His own. And in that way, the miracle will keep speaking long after the moment has passed, continually pointing hearts back to Him. So here you are, standing in the quiet before the storm of blessing. The world may not see it yet, but heaven is already leaning toward you. The angels are already in motion, the details already aligned, the outcome already written. You are not waiting for God to begin, you are waiting for Him to reveal. Every tear, every trial, every delay has been leading to this. Every person removed from your life, every closed door, every season that felt like a setback was part of a larger design. And soon, that design will unfold before you in such beauty and power that those who doubted will be frozen in silence, and those who believed will be overwhelmed with joy. When it happens, you will stand in awe, not just of what you have received, but of the way it came to be. You will know that it was not your strength, not your influence, not your resources that made it happen. It was God and God alone. And in that moment, every reason you ever had to fear will dissolve, replaced by the unshakable truth that the one who made the stars also took the time to line up a miracle just for you. Hold your ground, keep your faith. The stage is set and the curtain is about to rise, and when it does, your life will never be the same again.